Hey there, I'm Colin Weston, host of the Mod Golf Podcast. So today we're going to talk about the metaverse, NFTs, blockchain, cryptocurrency, how that all kind of swirls around and is involved with sports and the sports metaverse. So today my guest is Guillermo Heredia, who is the managing director of the metaverse and NFTs with Hype Sports Innovation. Guillermo and I had a conversation on our audio podcast there, our long form. We really got into it, dug super deep. So I do encourage all you viewers to perhaps consider the link below to actually click on the podcast episode and become listeners there. So we're going to keep this kind of light. We're going to move this fast and ask some different questions here. But to get started, Guillermo, great to see you again. Thanks for joining me again on the Mod Golf YouTube channel.
Thank you, Colin. Big pleasure.
Yeah. So, hey, we had a conversation last week where we talked about all the great things you're doing in sport there, your experience in European football with La Liga, and how that now informs you to all the great things that you're doing in the sports metaverse. So even though you defined very nicely and very succinctly and clearly all of these things that are confusing people between the sports metaverse, cryptocurrency, blockchain, NFTs. You defined all those, so I don't want you to do that again, but I will ask you to do this. Explain for our viewers here, what is the sports metaverse? Can you give us an overview of that, what you consider to be the defining element of that?
Totally. So as we said before, it took us around 50 minutes. So I will try to make it very, very, very fast, right? So where the metaverse is going, it's a full integration between the physical and the digital world, where we are going to be able to do many things with the VR technologies, AR, mixed reality, and other different technologies that we have out there, right? And today, we can still do many things as we have online platforms which are way more interactive and immersive than ever before, especially now with the added value of the blockchain technology, where for the first time you are able to own a digital asset and trade it and therefore create an economy around it. So for sports, for the first time in the metaverse, they can create a 24/7 digital museum where people are able to enter and interact with your brand and see everything that you have there with the Hall of Fame and check your highlights, your trophies, and buy your merchandising anywhere, anytime in the world, any person. So that is one of the examples that what you can do with the sports in the metaverse nowadays.
Yes. Thank you for that. Again, succinct. So even I understand that, which is the important thing. So, okay, well, let's talk about NFTs or non-fungible tokens here. And you're going to give us a golf example, and I believe you have a prop to provide us this example of what an NFT could look like and the value that it could hold.
Okay, so basically, an NFT is a non-fungible token. So we have to understand the difference between what is a fungible asset and what is a non-fungible asset. So that's why I brought here these two golf balls that I don't know if you see them there with, there you go. So basically they look the same. They are the same, TaylorMade 5 TP5X, right? And they are both new, right? So you wouldn't mind if this is your ball and this is my ball, you wouldn't mind if we change it. It's the same ball, you wouldn't care, right? So that is a fungible asset. Whereas if, for instance, this ball is the one that Tiger Woods did this bunker shot in 2019 in Mexico, did that slice that he did, suddenly this ball, it is not worth the same thing as the other one. And you wouldn't be that willing to swap it as you were before, right? So that is the main difference, just using a golf analogy, on what is a fungible asset and what is a non-fungible asset. A non-fungible asset is a one of a kind, as it could be like a golf that Tiger Woods hit that bunker shot in 2019.
Nice. So we're not just talking about physical assets as NFTs. We're also talking about experiences as something that could be limited or even one of a kind. So I wanted to ask you this as an example. Maybe this is possible, maybe it's in the future, maybe it works right now, but you're the expert way more than I will ever be in this space. So I'll ask you this. Let's say the Masters played every April. So the experience myself as a fan, whether you have the good fortune of being there physically at the event, or like most of us, watching it on television, a very passive experience. So what is the opportunity in the future for us to be more immersed, to actually perhaps in real time while it's going on? Just like what I see now with musicians, bands having concerts that they're actually playing, but it's in the metaverse. How could that work out? Let's say the final day, the last 9 holes, the most exciting part of the Masters. How can that be enhanced and also be in the metaverse at the same time that I can participate in that experience?
Totally. First of all, in the future, I will be able to be there even if I'm not physically there. So I can be here in Madrid and I will be experiencing everything around the Masters as if I was there physically, because I will be there with my digital presence of myself, and I will be able to see everything as you are seeing if you are there physically, right? So first of all, experiencing the same thing as if you were there. That's one of the things. Then you can add the NFT part of it, right? So for instance, you can get the ticket that you enter at the Masters, right? It seems that it doesn't have that much value. That the other day I was looking at some old stuff that I have here at home. I'm from Gijón. I'm from the north of Spain. And I remember I went to watch a football match some years ago. I think it was, if I recall correctly, it was the promotion game, or I think it was the promotion game to First Division, and it was Sporting Eibar. And I look at my ticket because I kept it, because it meant something for me. That is something that it has a value for me, right? And as it is a physical ticket, it is now almost destroyed. You cannot even see what is written there, and it's a pity, right? So if you, for instance, have these NFT tickets, first of all, you will not have this problem in the future. And secondly, you can add some value on top of it, because when you have this NFT ticket and you know there is an owner related to that NFT, which in this case it will be, for instance, you, Colin, then the Masters can say only the owners of the NFT of the entrance ticket for the Masters will have access to meet and greet with whatever player, have access to a specific experience that no other person can have if they don't hold that NFT, right? So there are many things that you can do around it with the NFTs and with the metaverse.
That's a great point that you made, that it is then generating exclusive experiences that have incredible value. And we are in the experience economy, have been for some time. So then being not just in physical space, but now as we also have in virtual and in digital space also. So as far as how do you monetize this, the value for, let's say, sponsors? I know with the good work you do with Hype Sports Innovation. So it's not only the kind of the startups and all these different sports sectors that you're involved with, but it's also matching up, whether it's in the metaverse or in real, in physical space, sponsors and brands, and aligning them also with certain opportunities. So how about, let's say, an example of, let's say, whether it's Coca-Cola or Pepsi or Volkswagen or American Express, is there value for them to actually be the sponsor then of this exclusive VIP type of experience that people can unlock through an NFT? What do you see there?
You mean like their brand being placed in the metaverse, or
Yes.
They actually minting an NFT, or both?
I can give an answer for both. Perhaps they could. You tell me. I think perhaps there's opportunities for both.
I had the conversation. I had the conversation the other day with I think it's the VP in sports, in Coca-Cola, and we had a nice conversation because. So I come from La Liga, as you know, right? So during 5 years that I was in La Liga, and now that I'm at Hype, I know what I got to talk to many clubs, leagues, federations, and now also to many sports through Hype. And we all had the same needs as a sport property, which is basically how to increase revenues and how to increase fan engagement, right? And here the NFTs and the metaverse, it is a way to do it. However, for a brand as Coca-Cola, the conversation I had with them is that they talked about also promotional tool. It's a marketing tool. So when you want to promote a new product, now you can do it also through an NFT. So it's not just to get revenues out of something that it already exists, but or how to engage with new fans, but also how to promote something new that is going to be out there in the market, right? So it's not only a revenue stream, it's not only a fan engagement, but it's also a promotional tool. And one thing to add there, why would people be there placing the brand in that metaverse, in the metaverse experience? It's where our fans are going to be. Therefore, if especially younger generations, if they spend time in the metaverse, and when they enter these digital worlds, they will see that brand. So there is an interaction in between the people you want to reach and your brand. So you as a brand, you have to be where your fans are, right? So that's the reason for being in the metaverse.
Yeah. Thank you for that. One example we talked about earlier in the golf space is a company called Golf Plus, and they are creating really virtual or metaverse golf courses there that are a virtual reality experience that you can actually play these golf courses that they've made up with your friends, or it could be virtually anybody around the world there in real time. So I wanted to ask you this, what they've done with Golf Plus, do you see the opportunity for, let's say, golf course owners, whether they're private clubs that no one can play, or just, because it's really hard to get on golf. Golf is so popular now, especially during COVID. Getting a tee time is very difficult. Or in some places, like I'm in Canada, we're under snow for a good part of the year, and it's not a golf season. So to be able to play anytime, do you see in the metaverse of replicating these iconic golf courses, whether it's Pebble Beach or Augusta, that the owners of those properties there could they then charge people like me to actually play? Like what opportunities, what would motivate them to want to do something like that, to replicate their golf course in the metaverse? What do you think on that?
Totally. Like it's, I would go one step further, right? So it's not about playing the course itself, which is obviously something really interesting, but we have to be creative there. And how are we going to make the people that go to my golf course in the metaverse, how I can get them to be recurrent to my platform, right? So it is adding this gamification, which is not only about playing the golf course, but what can I do afterwards, right? So maybe like in their facilities, or I can add something around it. I don't know the answer right now, right? But we have to be creative on adding some things on top of just playing, so people interact with me after or before they are playing the golf course, right? So that is one way for people to actually get users back to your platform over and over again.
Got it. Yeah, well, we talked earlier about the engagement, and though you talked about the gamification also there, rewards and delighters. What do you unlock? Even if it's things that you win, if it's an NFT, that is for bragging rights. As far as the value of that, if you win a tournament or certain awards, not unlike playing kind of mobile gaming of what you'll do, whether it's golf or anything else, just that dopamine drip that you get from winning or beating your friends, or even someone you don't even know, head to head halfway around the world. That as humans, we're kind of built for that that type of joy of
you can create your winning. You can also create your own, I don't know, like you can create events there in your metaverse golf course. So people, the same way they do weddings in the golf course I have near my place, you can do something there in the metaverse, right? And you can hide special items within the golf course that you have to go with your avatar and try to find them, so you get to experience the whole area of the golf course, right? You can have the shop available, and you can enter and see everything, and you can buy it, especially for your avatar. So because your avatar, the image of your avatar is as important as the image of your person, the physical world, especially for younger kids, right? So if your avatar now is wearing the golf, the Master Augusta, the Augusta, I don't have the shirt or whatever, the polo, you're wearing something different, and maybe there are only, let's say, 100 Augusta jerseys out there. So you have to go to that place, you have to buy it there, and you'll be one in 100 people in the world who will be wearing that specific jersey, for instance. Right? So there are many things that you can do besides just playing the golf course.
Yes. I think of games, whether it's like Fortnite, my kids playing that for years and always upgrade, getting new skins. And it's like, so what you're actually wearing has value, and other players know that. You talk about that value exchange. If you're wearing that limited jersey, people know immediately that as whether it's status to it or exclusivity to it also. So there's certainly value in
you can
that.
link it to a physical experience, that if you have something in that metaverse, then you have experience to the physical golf course, right? So you get a green fee there or something. So you can mix, and you should mix both worlds, the physical and the digital.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can go on for a long time here, but I do want to encourage our viewers to listen to the podcast, to get all these other examples, and we really dig into cryptocurrency and blockchain and all that. So we're going to hold off on that, because once again, I really suggest that people go have a listen over there with our podcast episode. But to finish up here, are there any other examples that you can see of where do you think with the sports metaverse, especially how it relates to golf, because you are a golfer and you love golf, of where you see things could go in the next 1 to 5 years? So pull out your crystal ball, and what would you see? What would be the most awesome outcome if the metaverse expanded and everything came together, and this is where we were in 5 years from now?
Well, the way I see it is that you can experience any sport in the metaverse, and meaning experience a live broadcasting. It can be not just broadcasting, it can be like experiencing itself, as we said before. You have the community around the specific tournament, or the community around golf or all the other sports in the same place. So you will be able to be closer to the people that have the same interests as you, and in a more immersive way, so you can interact with them and with your brands. So that is like a new way in order to interact with other fans and with the brands that we never experienced before.
It's a great point. It's all about community building and finding your tribe, right? And doing that in real life, and also doing that on digital platforms also. Okay, so actually I lied. I do have one more question here. You just talked about what you think the future might hold. So I want to rewind the tape and say where things were, let's say, I guess about 20 years ago. I'm a lot older than you, as you can see with the gray in my beard. I'm sure you in the business, in the sector, you were aware of Second Life. So with Second Life, what they were doing is creating these avatars and this virtual experience. So where do you see the metaverse, and what elements are coming together that poises this now for success, a long-term sustainable expanding success, rather than just a fad?
Talking about, for instance, 5G technology. We are talking about the blockchain technology. As we said before, you are now able to own digital assets like land. You buy land now in the metaverse, right? And you will be the owner of a specific place in the metaverse, and you can build there whatever you want, which are things that you weren't able before. You can create a whole economy around it, which before it was not that easy. So, and talking about Second Life, that's a good example. And that is what we said before in the podcast, that what is the definition of a metaverse, right? So not everybody agrees on what it is. And some people say some things are the metaverse and some are not. And for instance, these type of cases always come up, right? Second Life is the metaverse or not? Or what happens with video games? Are they metaverses or not, right? So basically what we are talking is an improvement of technology like 5G, an improvement of artificial intelligence, the appearance, like the blockchain technology, which before we didn't have, right? So the experience that we have nowadays, I think it is technology-wise is better than before. And also from a fan perspective or from a user perspective, we are more used to this type of experiences, right? So I think it's like our brain is more ready for this, and the technology is more ready. And in a few years, the technology will be even better, and the experiences will be even better than now.
I agree. I can keep going, like I said, but why don't we wrap it up there? Because I know you're a busy man. You got many things to do. I guess it's late at night now, sort of still morning for me in Vancouver here, but you're just wrapping up your day. So I don't want to take any more of your time. So Guillermo, thanks for joining me today again on the ModCall YouTube channel, and for sharing all the things that you're doing, NFT, metaverse, crypto, and blockchain, all those things swirling around, and the good work that you're doing with Hype Sports with Hype Sports Innovation. I should have that right by now. I've been working with you guys long enough there. Love the work that you're doing on a global stage with sports tech and the sport economy, and how you are helping to expand that and adding value. You guys are doing a great job. So hey, thanks for joining me again on the Mod Golf Podcast.
Thank you very much, Colin. It is a pleasure.